begin with a prayer together. Please stand. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
the kingdom, the power,
and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen.
the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Happy to have you here. And this is our second annual town hall meeting. We'll update where we are so far. I want to just remind everyone. Last year we had the first town hall meeting. We talked a little about the project, about the finance. And I want to remind why I was assigned here. So when the bishop told me you have to go to St.Sharbel, he told me you have two missions to do. Two purposes. The first one is to serve the people, and the second one was to build a church. And since last year we're working on finding a property so we can go in a bigger place, but it didn't work. Over 28 properties didn't work. And then the bishop said, you've been searching enough. All the priests before you searching enough. You have to stop and begin building where you are. And that's why I made a decision. This is where we're going to stay, and this is where we're going to build. So if you see we're going forward because this is it. There's no change anywhere. Okay? And today in our agenda we have two things to talk about. Church campus update and capital campaign details. These are the two major topics today. And from this, why we're doing this major change, this renovation. First, a larger in capacity. So the church will be a double size for the people. When the people, when they go to church, they have a seat. You can sit. They don't have to stay up. They don't want to be in the hall. They have to be in the church. You know, it's more modern and centralized. We want to make sure that everything is in one place and supportive of faith formation and education. We want the kids, when they come here, the parents are at the same building having coffee, enjoying the time. It's a place where we have all our needs in. Please welcome with me Ashley, Danny, Rita, and Joe. These are parishioners. They will tell their stories and why we need this church to happen, to build. It's an investment.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joe Hodge. For those of you who don't know me, I have been a parishioner here since birth. Been very blessed and fortunate to have been able to grow with this church from the inception, with the blessings of the families that have all been around us since we've been here. So they asked me to speak about my relationship with the church and the history that we've had since the church was founded. I remember as a young boy at 8 years old and younger, being held masses being held over at Sacred Heart. For those of you who remember when we were over at Sacred Heart, and then we would have our gatherings in the basement afterwards. So you know, this is 35 years in the making. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm very blessed and happy to be a part of it. I remember as a young boy remembering when my father, Bill and Asaf Farhad and Asif and many other gentlemen of the church came together with Father Kamil Haj and found the church and started the church and became Father Paul Boulos, rest his soul, my grandfather's brother. And from the inception, this fire started with a spark. And what a beautiful thing for us to be here now. I remember us as well being an altar boy at a young age, and now seeing my son as an altar boy, seeing the room filled with young children in there, who will now be the next generation of children. That was a fast 2 minutes. So, really briefly, I just wanted to say I'm very proud and happy and blessed to be a part of this church since being a young child, and this group that we have here is all dedicated to helping make this a better community and hopefully a new church for everyone. And Rita.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
So, what does St.Sharbel mean to me? St.Sharbel is a place that brings us together as a community. It's helped me cultivate my faith, values, and traditions. These things are very important to me, and I'm very proud of them. I've had many fond memories growing up in this parish. One of them being the MYO. We would meet together as a group, and I remember Linda Baroud was an advisor, and to this day I still have wonderful memories of us getting together, the youth retreats where we would meet people of similar faith and values, and we would speak to the clergy and the nuns and ask them we'd have questions about our faith, and they would answer them to their best ability. Today, having children of my own, I know the importance of this community. Especially, we know what's going on out there in society, the negative influences. We, as parents, sometimes don't have enough time to teach them everything. That's why it's important to have them come to this church, to St.Sharbel, to ground them and to learn as much as they can about their faith. So at this point, it's important to take this to the next level. We need to help our
We forgot to make it enough. Turn off yourself.
It's important to take this community to its full potential. We need to get it up to date and have it accommodate all of our needs. So, who's ready to build a church?
Hi everyone, I'm Ashley Mashalini, for those of you that don't know me. I'm very excited about our new church being built, especially because my grandparents were one of the first people to help start the church, and they've been active in this community, and my parents have been active in this community and still are, and so that's why I'm very excited for this church. I'm very blessed to have been baptized here and to have grown up here, and this is where I really learned all of my Lebanese culture and traditions, and where I got to grow in my Maronite faith. And so, for those of you that don't know, I am a teacher, and it's a lot easier to speak in front of a room full of children than it is to speak in front of a room full of adults. But I'm a teacher, and I teach MCF here every Saturday, so Maronite Christian Formation, and which is so important. We're so lucky to be able to have this program. And so every Saturday, I take my class from this hall over to the schoolhouse, across the parking lot to the schoolhouse. And we're lucky to have a place to be able to teach our children. It might not be the most ideal learning environment for them, and that's why we need to build this new church. And I'm so excited to build this new church because we will have classrooms provided for our students and for our children right in the building. And so I'm excited for them to be engaged and to want to interact with their peers, and it'll be so much easier when we're in the same building and I can take my class from the lower level right to the church as opposed to right across the parking lot. And so I'm just very excited for that because they're learning the most important material of their lives, which is their Maronite Catholic faith. And they deserve the best, and this church is going to give them the best that they deserve.
I'm Danny Haj. Abuna has a spike in life. I have 3 people here with Haj. I hope I'm not on a timer, Joe, so because I'm going to take it.
No, you're actually
in the last few months, I've had the opportunity to work with a great group of individuals on this cathedral campaign. Most of them are here today. And as we were working together all as a team, we started thinking, why is this project important to us? And why the success of this new project important? And so, and somewhat we all had different backgrounds, so we thought maybe telling our stories is very important, and sharing with everybody how the presence of St.Sharbel's church in our life helped us all. And so today I'm going to share with you my story and why this parish and this community is important to me. And so, I'm sorry that I didn't put anything here. So I came here to the U.S. When I was 23 years old. Had lived in Lebanon, went to college, finished college. Had lived pretty much the whole Lebanese life experience, from being in a hometown, in the village, if you want to call it that, to going to Beirut through my college years in Beirut. And you might recall we had a little civil war in between, for those that we are all familiar with. And then we come here, and I'm sure everybody is familiar with how difficult it is to come to a different place where, you're coming from a place where you're established, have a network of friends and family, and I'm sure everyone here associates with that, and to a place where you don't have a history, you don't have friends, family. So automatically, when you come here, you're grateful to having this community and all it offers you. And so this is primarily one of the main reasons for people like myself. This family of St.Sharbel is important. And so that would be the first aspect of my life. And the relationships, the connections that you make are, to me, just invaluable. And so fast forward a few years, you start getting more established slowly in life. I finished my education, got a job. And so, get married, obviously the natural transition, have kids. And so, at that point you start, besides, not getting enough sleep, you start basically thinking about things a little different. And so now you're thinking, how do I keep my values, my traditions, my faith, and keep it in my family, pass it on to my kids. And so that is another aspect of our lives where St.Sharbel and our community play a big role. And so on, I'm sure many of us here went through that stage in life as well. So, so it's important for our kids, for many of us, it's important for our kids to grow up together and have the same culture. And so, so for that, having a safe campus, a safe and renewed campus, church campus, allows our kids the opportunity to spend more time together, interact together, make friends, get the religious and cultural education that we want people to learn. And so, primarily, we're looking at the future. We're trying to help as much as we can to make this project successful. And today, we're thankful that the church has created a home for us. But the big question for us all, at this point in our history, what are we going to do to keep this and sustain our parish for generations to come? And I think no one disagrees that we need an updated facility in order for us to lay that foundation for future generations. So with that, I'm going to hand it on over to Abuna, who's going to give us an update on where the project is today. Thank you.
Thank you. Many of you are familiar with our campus, right? So what's new this year? Since last year, what happened? So that's good to know what's going on. So everybody knows we're St.Sharbel Church, where we are now, right? The whole church And you know the rectory, and you know the red building. These belong to the church, right? And across the street, the 12 reefs. So these were the main ones that we built, and the school building. So what left on the property were 3 houses, and then we owned the whole thing. So the first house that we bought since June 2017, Blake Avenue, June 2019. And then we bought 14 Reed Street, September 2019. And that last one that everybody told me they're Jews, they don't sell, well, they're selling. And we signed the contract. So we got the whole thing. We got Reed Street, and you can change the name to St.Sharbel Way, Boulevard Street, wherever you want. But that's our future. So this where we are, this is the whole campus, this is where we begin building. Now, what's really going on? Construction, we hope, we're praying begin in 2021. We're doing our best, and of course, everything in God's hands. And this is the site plan you never saw before. So this is where the church will be on the side. And then 4 houses will be taken out, so we can have 100 spots. 100 spots, because according to the township, we have 300 seats, every 3, 1 car. So we're supposed to have 100 spots. And then the last house that we signed the lease and the contract with them, that will be the priest house, all on the same property. Okay? And of course, you're familiar with this. It'll be a beautiful church. Eastern Avenue is down there. Okay, the entrance will be from the parking. What we have is updated bathrooms. We have plenty of them. Wine rooms. We have a big loft. The altar, have a good one. Prepared well with sacristies. A big hall, 4,000 square foot, that fits everyone. And a beautiful kitchen. And this is under the church. This is a place where we have 6 classrooms, administration meeting, and recreation center for the youth, where they can meet, have fun, enjoy, play, have their parties down there. They can be down there, parents can be up here, having coffee, enjoying the time, all in one building. And now, and that's the important part, we're going to show you the video, walking through, after building, how the church will look from the inside. And that's what we're doing now.
I think we'd all agree that this is a vision, a dream that a lot of us have had for a long time, so hopefully we will realize it with all your help. Okay, so today I was asked to present the numbers, but before I get a reputation for just a guy who talks about numbers, I wanted to just share some words from the heart. In my world, a church is a community and a building, right? Now we're a community. We celebrate together, we mourn together, and good times are made sweeter because we are together. And tough times are softened because we're together. When I think about all those milestones in my life, when I was celebrating and really being happy and thankful, a lot of you guys were there with me. And the times when I experienced the loss and I was, unhappy and life felt like it was a little too hard, you guys were there to pick me up. And so that's the definition of a community. Now, the building part is what brings us together, right? This building brings us together for those milestones, right? So weddings, baptisms, funerals, celebrating Mass on Sundays, in religious classes for the children, Arabic classes, they all happen here. So it makes sense that we would always be thinking about how do we make sure that this building and this campus can continue to meet the needs of this community for many years ahead. Now, on the next slide, I'm going to show you some numbers. And some of us are going to look at those numbers and say, I'm not sure if my contribution is going to be enough, or I don't know if what I can give is going to make a difference. Well, this committee is here to tell you that every dollar helps. Every dollar is going to make this dream come true, and we really need all your help. Now, for anybody who knows me, they know that I don't usually quote the Bible, but I'll make an exception today because of the passion that we all have around this. So when I was thinking about the numbers we're going to show you and how we all may be feeling, I thought about this story from the Bible where rich people were going to the temple and donating large sums of money. And a poor widow went up to donate as well, but she could only give very little. And Jesus was watching this happen. And when the widow came up to give her donation, this is what Jesus said to his disciples. So I'm going to read this to you. Amen, I say to you, this poor widow put in more than all the other contributors. Right? This widow put in more than all the other contributors, for they have all contributed from their surplus wealth. But she, from her poverty, has contributed all she had. So, contributing is a personal choice. So, let's talk about the costs next. So, this is basically the main takeaways we want you to have coming out as far as the capital campaign. The total investment to complete the project, to be able to achieve the site plans that Una took us through and to achieve the building, the video that we all walked through, is $2.8 million. The church is going to contribute the first $1 million towards that $2.8 million. So that leaves us with a capital campaign goal of $1.8 million. Now that $1.8 million needs to be achieved over a 3-year period. This is not something that we need to have all together all next year in 2020. So across 2020, 2021, and 2022, we're hoping that with your help, we can collect the $1.8 million that we would need to get the remainder, to get to $2.8 million to do what we need in this site. Now, this is a capital campaign for a church. So obviously, the capital campaign needs to begin with the parishioners. That's what we're doing here today. But the operative word here is begin, right? So this is not a capital campaign strictly for just the parishioners. So this is another area where we need your help. If you know of a person, an entity, a business, someone that's outside of our community that you think can help us contribute to this capital campaign, please let us know. Let Abuna know, let someone from the committee know, so that we can work with you to reach out to this person or business or entity and see if we can't pitch to them our capital campaign, to see if they can help us. So please keep that in mind as we move forward. The last part of this slide talks about pledging. So let's talk about, what is a pledge? A pledge is a two-step process. The first one is a very personal one. The first step of pledging is all of us going back home, going back to our families, and thinking about our budgets, our family situation, and how much we are passionate about being able to deliver on this project. So, and then reaching a conclusion on how much we can contribute. That's the first step in pledging, is us making a decision on how much we want to contribute. The second step is around filling out the pledge card and sending it back into the church office, getting it back to Abuna by no later than November 7th. This is the pledge card. Sorry, what did I say? Just to be clear, no later than February 7th. This is the pledge card. We passed some out tonight. Some of it may be inside the brochures that you guys have gotten on your way in. This pledge card will also get mailed to anyone who we have the address for on the church distribution list. And this card will also be made available for all of us as we're exiting the church after Mass. This will be on the table outside of where the priest will be standing. If you don't have one, please feel free to take it. Now Jessica is going to take you through the contents of this pledge card, but essentially on this is where you would put your information and how much you plan to contribute to the church. This will become your financial commitment to this project that will help us build our church. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jessica.
Thank you, Tony. So everybody received a pledge card. It's in the brochure, so I'll walk us through all the information on it together.
Anybody didn't receive the booklet and the card, they can have
it. These pledge cards are important because they help us track our progress during the campaign, and they also help us forecast what our future campaign total will be. So it's very important to fill them out and return them to the church. On the front of the card, you'll see a giving consideration table. These are suggestions to get you thinking about what your contribution to the church will be. On the back of the card, on the left-hand side is where you can fill in your contact information. On the right-hand side, on the front or on the top, is where you'll fill in what your contribution amount is and the frequency at which you're going to contribute it. We have 4 options here. You can pledge monthly, quarterly, yearly, and we have other there. That would mostly be for if you wanted to make a one-time payment. And we chose these frequencies because they make the accounting process for us simple, and it prevents, like contributions coming in inconsistently or weekly. Below that, you can check off your preferred method of giving. We have a couple options for these. The first one is cash and check, so you can bring your contribution to church, you can mail it into church. The second one is electronic giving. This is a new feature we're introducing, and it's primarily going to be through the St.Sharbel website. It's very user-friendly. In a minute, we'll show you what that looks like. And there's 3 ways you can pay on there. You can use credit card, debit card, and you can do bank account transfers. You also can access that website through the St.Sharbel app now. So you'll see in the menu within the app, there's a giving tab, and you can click on that, and it'll take you to the website. The last 2 boxes there are bank transfers. That's if you want to set up a bank account transfer outside of the website. So we also have that as an option. And then we have other. That would be, if you have an idea for a different type of method, we're open to that as well. Below that, you will see a checkbox.
where you can mark if you want to keep your contributions confidential. Because in the new church, in the lobby, we're planning on having artwork in the form of a cedar tree that's going to display the names of the donors.
So they can do corporate matching?
Yeah. And then just lastly, just as a reminder, we're giving you 2 months to kind of reflect and think about what your contribution will be. And so these cards are due back February 7th, 2020. For the last 2 items on there, these might be options that you can consider. The first one is corporate matching gifts. So some companies, some businesses will match the contributions of their employees to nonprofits, and St.Sharbel Church is considered a nonprofit. And because this is a large infrastructure project, something like planned gifts and requests would also be appropriate in this situation. So Rita and I will show you what the church website looks like now, the capital campaign page.
Okay, so now it's easier than ever to give to our church. You can, Jessica's going to take us to the, basically you click on the website, there's a tab that says giving. Click on giving. I'm sorry, Jess, can you take us back over there? So if you click on giving up there, underneath you'll see that button that you can click, it says click here to give online. Under that, if you want to stay within the Facebook, the website page, you can also do that. But we're going to take you to Tithely website. It's better to sign up. So if you click on sign up, did you want to? Yeah. If you just click on sign up, enter your email address, create an account, and it'll take you through the steps. It's very easy. Create a password and PIN number. So go back if you want to. There, if you want to just back, yeah. As you can see, you can enter $100. Then you can give for the Sunday collection, or just a capital campaign. We can do recurring gifts. You can do it every week, every 2 weeks. It doesn't have the option of quarterly, but you can do every month. Pick the day that you want it debited out of your account. Enter your name, email address. You can use a credit card or your bank. I recommend the bank, your banking, because it's the fee is 1% versus a credit card that's 2.9%. So, plus there's a 30-cent transaction for each transaction. So if you're going to do a transaction of $100 through your bank account, it'll be $101.30. So that's 1% plus a 30-cent transaction. You can choose to cover the fees, or that it'll just come out of the $100 that you donate. So that's basically it. It's pretty simple if you just want to give it a try.
So also on the website, we have a separate capital campaign page, and that's how we're going to be communicating updates and communicating our progress moving forward. We've also launched a new Facebook page and an Instagram page. They're both named the New St.Sharbel Church, and the information for those is on the back of the brochure. So like or follow those pages to get communications through there. And now that everybody has this information, we're asking you all to spread the word to parishioners who couldn't make it today, to your friends, to your communities. There's a lot of people who don't know about St.Sharbel, but once they learn about him, they learn about this project, they would be very excited to contribute. For example, my mom last week at work, it just came up in a conversation with her coworker that we're rebuilding a church. Her coworker is from Haiti. She doesn't know who St.Sharbel is. After my mom spoke to her about him, the next day, the woman brought in a donation, and she asked my mom to give the money to the church and to pray for her. So there is power in spreading this message. But of course, we're always welcome to hearing your suggestions and ideas for fundraising so that this campaign can be as successful as it can be. Okay, Abuna's going to lead us through a prayer.
So before the prayer, I want to just say, we're not here today to ask you for money. We're here for it today just to have a commitment together. And I want we all together as a community come together and build our church. We need to invest in the future of this church, in the future of our children. I want to see our children getting married here in this church. I want to see getting baptized. I want to use the hall for, being together, food. I want to go somewhere else. So this is the place. And this is the investment. We're all working together, working on it. So this is the time to be together as a community. And I think we've been waiting so long. We have just to begin. So this is a prayer that we created, and I hope we'll be praying it every time, after Mass. So there'll be cards in church. We'll do it every time we come to Mass. We'll read this. You have the booklet. You can do it at home. It's in the first page in your booklet. It's asking really St.Sharbel to be with us, to build this church. We'll do the prayer, and then anybody would like to ask me something. So, if you don't see clearly, you can have the booklet. You can open this on the same first page. Okay? Almighty and gracious God, we, your sons and daughters of the St.Sharbel Church, have been so blessed to be part of this parish community. Help us to continue to be a community in Christ for all generations as we move forward to renew our church home, physically and spiritually. Open our hearts to respond to your Holy Spirit. Jesus, may we receive your most abundant blessings and grace. As in the intercessions of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Saint Aaron, and Saint Sharbel, our Creator, may the work of this campaign be pleasing to you, as we await in joyful hope for the fullness of your glory, through Christ our Lord. Amen. To the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. So, thank you very much. We have snacks and coffee. Got a coffee here. And if anyone would like to ask me any questions, any concerns, ready to answer. By the way, I would like to say thank you for the great committee for being always together. I want to have Ashley, Danny, Rita, Jessica, Joe, Tony, and Josh is not here today, so this is the group. And as in the back, come please so they know you. Come please, Asper Pur. It's a great honor to be your So, we're here. Any questions, anything, you can just ask us. Okay. Please, for the coffee and the snacks, please come on.